All right, today we are diving deep into something most of us think we know pretty well, but is actually one of the most complex, dynamic fluids on the entire planet. I'm talking about human milk. And let me tell you, it is so much more than just food. It's a living communication system, and what's packed inside is, well, it's nothing short of astounding. So let's start with a question. What's really in a single drop of human milk? I mean, really think about it. If you're just thinking fat, sugar, and protein, you are barely scratching the surface. The reality is so much more intricate, and honestly, it's just incredible.
You know, the best way to describe it is as a complex biofluid. Now, what that means is that it's not just delivering perfectly tailored nutrition. It's also providing absolutely critical immune support and sending developmental cues. So you got to think of it less like a simple meal and way more like a living, breathing conversation between mother and infant.
Okay, so let's start with the parts we might be a little more familiar with, the core nutritional recipe. These are kind of the fundamental building blocks, the very foundation of this amazing fluid.
So you've got the big three macronutrients, right? There's protein, which are the building blocks, there's fat for energy and that crucial brain development, and then lactose, which is the main carbohydrate. But here's where it gets super interesting. This isn't some fixed, static recipe. Nope. Research shows that things like a mother's BMI can actually influence the protein levels, and what she eats can change the fat content. This means the milk is responding and changing from the get-go.
And of course, it's not just about those big three. Beyond them, it is absolutely packed with a whole spectrum of micronutrients. We're talking about things like thiamine, that's vitamin B1, and a whole host of other vitamins that are completely essential for healthy development. Okay, now for the part that is just mind-blowing. Beyond the basic nutrition, human milk is literally teeming with what scientists call bioactive components. The best way to think of these is like an army of tiny biological helpers, and each one has a very specific, very important job to do for the infant.
First up, you've got immunoglobulin A, or IgA for short. This is an absolutely critical antibody. It actually coats the baby's intestinal lining, acting like a protective shield. It gives what we call passive immunity, guarding the baby from any nasty pathogens it might run into. It's literally the baby's first line of defense, delivered on demand. And then there's this stuff called osteopontin, or OPN. This is a special protein that studies have linked directly to infant growth and, you guessed it, the development of the immune system. This just goes to show, milk isn't just feeding the baby, it's actively building its body and its defenses from the inside out.
Get this. Milk also has hormones. I mean, actual chemical messengers like leptin, insulin, and adiponectin are right there in the milk, and they play this huge role in regulating the infant's appetite and metabolism. So right from day one, milk is essentially teaching the baby's body how to manage its energy and its hunger. It's incredible.
And this part is just wild. Human milk contains things called microRNAs. These are unbelievably tiny molecules that act almost like little biological software updates. They can actually cross into the infant cells and help regulate which of the baby's own genes get switched on or off. So what exactly are these tiny little software updates doing? Well, they have a massive impact. They're helping to fine-tune the infant's metabolism, they're guiding the immune system's development, and they even help direct how cells grow and what they ultimately become. It's like sophisticated biological programming, being delivered in real time. Okay, so if your mind isn't blown yet, just brace yourself, because human milk isn't just some complex cocktail of ingredients. In a very real way, it's a living, breathing ecosystem all on its own. That's right, I said living. Human milk contains its own unique community of bacteria. We call it the human milk microbiome, and it even has living cells from the mother. And let's be clear, these are not just contaminants. They are a fundamental, intended part of the fluid transferred directly from mother to child. And what's crucial is that this microbiome isn't static. For instance, one study found that an intervention group ended up with a higher amount of beneficial bacteria like bifidobacterium. This shows that the milk's microbiome is dynamic, and it's actively seeding the infant's gut with all the right microbes to get things started. So all of this has been building to one really important point. Human milk is not a one-size-fits-all product, not even close. It's a constantly adapting, deeply personalized prescription that changes based on a whole host of different factors.
I mean, there are just so many factors at play here. The mother's diet, her BMI, her genetics, even the time of day, all of these things influence the final composition of the milk. But you know what one of the most powerful influences is? It's simply time, the stage of lactation itself.
The milk's recipe literally evolves as the baby grows. Take vitamins, for example. Research shows that concentrations of vitamin A and pantothenic acid are really high in that first month, but then they start to decrease by month 6. The milk is perfectly adapting, in real time, to exactly what the infant needs at each stage of development.
So, we're left with this really powerful thought to chew on. If milk is this complex, living, and adaptive dialogue happening between a mother and her child, what are the conversations that are taking place that we are only just now beginning to overhear? What else is there to discover?